Hello, Facebook world. We're live with you today. Me from Iowa and my special guest, Marianne Gedigian in Texas.
Good morning.
Welcome to our very first Flutespresso event. You think flutes, you think coffee, and you get Flutespresso.
Cheers.
Cheers. We are so excited to start this event, and we invite you today to grab your own cup of coffee, or I guess tea if that's your flavor, and join us for a little coffee break chat, as I am so excited to speak with Marianne Gedigian. I am Heather Neuenschwander from Flute Specialists, and thank you all for being here. Go ahead and type in the chat for us now if you want to interact with us. Tell us, what are you drinking? It's like on the red carpet when they say, what are you wearing? We say, what are you drinking? And I'll start with Marianne. What are you drinking this morning?
Okay, in celebration of this being focused on coffee in my beautiful Flute Specialist mug, I am drinking French press dark roast coffee with a splash, it's very frou-frou, with a splash of lavender syrup and a tiny sprinkle of cinnamon.
Wow.
I know. Normally it's just the coffee, but today I thought I would just dress it up a little bit. What are you drinking?
I'm so glad you asked. We are like-minded. I like dark roast coffee as well. This is a nice breakfast blend because here in Central Time, it is still morning. At Flute Specialists, it's noon, and maybe you're thinking about lunch over there, but we're thinking breakfast still because it's summer and 11 o'clock is still early, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But mine is much more boring than yours. Just plain black coffee is what gets me going each day.
Also good.
So I feel like Marianne is one of those flutists who needs no introduction, but I'm going to do a little bit anyways. And start by saying that whenever I hear your name, the first words that I hear are inspirational or inspiring. You're an inspirational flutist and an inspiring flutist. I don't know if you'd have anything to say about that.
Thank you. No, not really. I appreciate it, but we each just do the best we can. So if somebody feels that way at some moment, then I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. And of course, I've never actually met you in person. So this is such an honor to me to meet you today.
That's lovely. The honor is mine, and it's a mutual, right? I think as we're seeing in the world, it's really nice to kind of remember that we're all on the exact same plane. So it's a mutual honor.
You're too kind. But let's talk about how great you are, because that's what I want to do. So you are an internationally known flutist, a teacher at the University of Texas. It's the Butler School of Music. Is that
correct?
Excellent. And of course, I checked out your bio to learn all these cool things. You played with the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops. You've been featured on some soundtracks. Maybe you want to say which ones.
Right. With the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops, we were asked with John Williams to record for Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List. And the Schindler's List soundtrack was shared with an LA orchestra. So sometimes you'll hear the great Jim Walker, and sometimes it's me.
That's amazing. It makes me want to listen to it again.
Well, oftentimes, as I watched the film, I thought, "Oh, that sounds good. Wait, that's Jim." I just try and keep up with that guy. Do my best.
Another amazing flutist, for sure.
That was really thrilling, Heather, because Spielberg came out to the recording sessions, and we were all starstruck, right? I mean, and Tom Hanks too. He was at some of the sessions, and speaking of mutually respectful, they got up to speak to us, and the orchestra was kind of just like, wow. And they got on the podium and said, wow, to the orchestra. So I think that's, just that collaboration of the arts and mutual respect that was in the air during those sessions and very appreciated.
Oh, amazing. I'm just briefly glancing at all of the comments, and somebody said lavender syrup. They were very interested in that. So
Yes.
Pointing.
Lavender Syrup. What is the name of the company? I cannot remember, but if you go Google lavender syrup, it comes in a rather large bottle, and you need, well, I don't know how much you would need, but I just need a little splash. It doesn't so much taste as it gives that sort of floral aroma, softens things around the edges a little with the coffee without cream or milk.
Oh, I love it. I'm also seeing lots of hearts from William S. Haynes Company. So,
Yay!
of course, I planned to hearts back to thank William Haynes Company for setting up, helping to organize this event. And I said this morning on my Facebook page, one of my favorite things about working for Flute Specialists is every once in a while they just send me beautiful flutes. It's an amazing thing that they do. I'm going to scroll over. They send me Haynes flutes and had just for me to play and show to you all on Facebook today, and I will play them all night before I will send them back. But you are a Haynes artist, and you also love Haynes flutes.
Of course, and I own 2 amazing gold Haynes flutes. One of them is a replica of the great Rumpol's instrument, and it has amazing detail. The other one, actually, I don't have right with me, but I do have this one. I wonder if you can see. Can you see any of that detailing?
I do. That's beautiful.
Isn't that stunning? That's all replicated from Monsieur Rumpol's flute. And so it feels very magical. And that's a gold flute, a light gold with a C foot. And then I also have a beautiful heavy walled gold flute with a B foot. So I have both kind of sounds of gold there. They're stunning instruments.
Do you have one favorite, or is it just, I feel like this will match the character today and this would be better for tomorrow? Or
Right. Well, I am a quintessential Gemini, so my favorite is absolutely floating all the time. But I like them both, and they both really do serve different environments, different repertoire. It's just great to have that privilege of having both of them to choose from.
Yeah, I felt that privilege yesterday since they sent me 2, and I was teaching yesterday. I was like, I'll play this one now, and now I'll play this one. You get to do that every day.
I do, and it's so fun when you get to a hall.
Oh, and you play them both?
Yeah, just test them out and see which one, really rings in that space.
Oh, wow. I was going to say another great thing that I somewhat recently learned about you. I somehow didn't know that you were from Michigan.
I am from Michigan. It is such an amazing earth of flute players there. And of course, I grew up close to you, Flute Specialists, and grew up with all of the amazing people there, teachers and companies. And I mean, how many places can boast a place called Flute Specialists?
Thank you for that product placement. We appreciate that.
Seriously, though, it's really a remarkable thing.
Oh, thank you. I saw that listed as one of your teachers as someone that I've played with. As you know, I'm in Iowa now, but I'm from Michigan, like you. And Donahoe Kowski was a teacher of yours. Is that correct?
That's correct. So I started with Darlene Drew, if you know Darlene at all. She lives in the Chicago area now. And I took about maybe 5 lessons with Darlene before she broke my little 8th grade heart and told me she was going to attend the Interlochen Academy, but that she would set me up with a new teacher. So she did. She introduced me to, at that point, it was Miss Rofe, and sparks flew when I met her. And she was an incredible teacher for me. First of all, an absolute love for her students and cats, but truly a great foundational teacher, inspirational in her sort of passion for music, her ability to share that passion with a process-based teaching. She was great at explaining things, such a kind person. her house was open to us in ways that I think she was really ahead of her time. She would just put recordings on and say, sit here and listen to them after your lesson. And just so open in her teaching and in her heart, and a beautiful player as well. My dad used to drive me to those lessons and would wait in the living room on her couch. And oftentimes I would walk out after my lesson. My dad would be covered in Siamese cats. And then later on, you know, I don't know if we do. That's before the phone, right? So I'm not sure. And then later on, of course, she married and became Ms. Kowski. But what a treasure it was to study with her. And then she recommended that I move along to the great Clement Barone during my later high school years. And so at that point, I was also heartbroken because I didn't want to part with her, but being a generous teacher and person as she is, she just said, it's time for new information. And I won't be out of your life, but you should study with him. And of course, like all great teachers, she really foresaw that need and that the possibilities of working with someone new. And of course, I just think Mr. Barone walked on water. And it's still a hole in my heart, you know, that he's not with us anymore. But that was, again, just spectacular as a teacher in all the ways, but also as a human being, generous beyond belief and exuberant in every moment you spent with him. Exuberant in his love of music, love of sound, love of singing, sharing, and just really a remarkable human being. So my early studies were really gifted with those people in my life.
I could speak about Michigan flutists and Michigan things with you all day. But I have to ask about, in the background, you have a guest with you as well.
Godzilla. Yes, that's my Godzilla. Godzilla was my birthday present a few years back. I live in a neighborhood here in Austin where there are lots of shops and boutiques, and I was walking our little picnics down the street one day, and I peered upon this rather large Godzilla model. And a couple weeks after that, my husband and daughter asked, you know, what would you like for your birthday? I said, well, Godzilla. And you know, what are you talking about now? So I got it for my birthday, and I have a love of Godzilla. So when I was growing up in Michigan, there was this thing on Mondays called the 4 o'clock movie. And at the time I was taking piano lessons because we had one, and my brother flatly refused to play the piano. So it was on me to utilize this instrument, but it was not really my calling at all. And I would try to get out of my piano lessons every week. The instructor would come to the house, which was, you know, really amazing. But every week I would say, oh, you know, I have an earache, or I have something or other. And every week I had to take these piano lessons. The only time I ever got out of lessons was when there was a Godzilla movie on, because I was just fanatical about these films. And so it's going to be Godzilla meets or Godzilla on Monday at 4. Can I have my lesson off? So Godzilla spared me from a lot of half an hours in my life of having to fess up that I hadn't practiced or done the work for the lesson. So in a sense, Godzilla is my monument to hard work.
I love it. I love it. So you were speaking about your early lessons, and I was curious, this is one of my questions, and I'm going to get to a question somebody else asked, but I was curious that in your journey as a flutist, did you ever hit one of those points where you thought, I'm not going to make it, I have these flute dreams and maybe it's just not going to happen? Did you have any of those struggle moments?
Well, almost those are two separate questions to me. Struggle moments and flute dreams. I'm not sure I ever had flute dreams, as strange as that might sound. I think that I just, things were different 35 years ago. So I'm not sure that I grew up having this dream of achieving something as much as I just loved playing. So I'm not sure about that side of it, but struggles, of course. I mean, struggles come in struggles with a small s and then struggles with a capital S in our field. It's so much independent learning, right? So much inward focus and independent learning that we do. And then we're supposed to process all of that into the most extroverted field and manner, right? We shut ourselves off all the time to kind of look at something carefully, and then we say, okay, that's my role. I figured it all out, and then we're supposed to come out and present. And I think that transition is just not that easy for me. People are always surprised when I tell them I'm an introvert, because I say, oh, I don't think so, MG, but I score off the charts on those tests. And so for me, it's that transition of coming from the practice room out to the public with what I've been doing that is, in a sense, the biggest struggle. Now, how that plays itself out is the second I walk out on stage. I'm so appreciative of people being there, that the struggle was only in my head and not in the reality. But that is a struggle that I have dealt with. That's sort of, I don't know if it's an inadequacy struggle or just that sort of unknown of performance. But truly, the second you walk out on stage and you see that people are giving of their time to be with you, it's like a release of that struggle, and then just a mutual act of being together. Really, that's what a performance is.
You are truly inspirational. You have inspired me now, and the gratitude for the audience. I will absolutely think of that, knowing that someday we will be in front of audiences again.
We will.
And I will think of that. And to make a little bit of light, although to mention, because we plan to archive this video, so to mention that we're still in the middle of what I like to call the quarantine times, where we're spending a lot of time at home and lots of time with Godzilla for you. I'm curious about, to lighten things up a little bit, as I'm about halfway through my cup of coffee here. I don't know about you.
Me too.
Yeah. And it'll be hard to get up and make another. So we'll stay on track with our coffee here. Anything fun, interesting things you've been doing during your time at home here?
Absolutely. Well, so first of all, we're fortunate to be able to be at home. And we live in a community where so many people are not, and they're out in front of our house on a 7-month construction project, or all the people that we now call essential workers, all the overlooked people previously, I think, from a lot of us. So again, gratitude that we can be home and that we can explore these fun things. So one fun thing is that I'm 56 years old, and in the last 2 months, I now can tell you I can cook. Anybody who would have said, I would have said that 3 months ago, would have said, nice, Marianne, good, go lie down, right? But 2 products that have changed my life are the Instant Pot. I know the world knew about this before me, and an air fryer.
Yeah.
And that has been so much fun, learning how just to this is what I'm talking about, learning how to put an ingredient in a pot and then close it off. That's my idea of cooking. But that has been a blast, actually, learning how to use those machines and then finding my own way with them. That's been really fun. Working out, doing yoga, some meditation has been fun. We have my husband and I, Charles Villarubia, is a tuba player and professor at UT also. We have a 17-year-old daughter, Ani, and she is she's really involved politically and in her studies, and she's a basketballer. So we just put out some cement in our backyard quite a small backyard, but some pavement, so we can all be out there playing basketball soon too. And reading, and we have a dog, so there's a lot of dog walking involved. But I think a lot of reflection time and just enjoyment of being in the house and being with my family.
Oh, that's lovely. We have something in common because a new gadget in my household is the air fryer. We got that in March. As soon as we stayed home, the air fryer was bought. But I do not do the cooking in my home, and I commend you that you are working hard on that. Do you have a favorite dish that you're making?
Oh, well, I see that Zach Warren just caught my eye saying shakshuka, and that's delicious. That is really a great meal. Thanks, Zach and Alyssa, for that recipe. No, I don't think we have a favorite right now. It's just been so much fun to explore all the different things that we can do. We're trying to eat more vegetarian, and the Instant Pot just fuses those flavors together, so it's really delicious. Now I'm making myself hungry.
We're almost to lunchtime here. Let's see here. Oh, just, another fun question. Do you have any TV that you're binge watching or anything like that right now?
Okay, so we're such fast binge watchers. Like we get into something and then we're up. This family, I don't know, we're like vampires. We never sleep. So we go so quickly through our television that I often can't remember what we've watched. But we just finished Money Heist. I don't know if you know that Spanish show. And then I'll just say that we like all things crime related, sort of detective-y, mysterious, things like that. We're just about to finish the last season of Schitt's Creek. Nobody tell me what happens, how it ends. I don't want to know.
Don't type that in the chat, guys.
Right, don't type it in, please. And I don't know, we're just super way down the rabbit hole in all the usual suspect shows like everybody else.
That's lovely. My children are young, so it's, Frozen. And
well, we like that too. How old are your kids?
4 and 9.
Oh, well, we're, over 50 and 17, and we like Frozen as well.
No, it's universally loved then. Disney should sponsor this as well.
Right.
I saw one question that I missed earlier because I'm focused on talking to you and the coffee, let's be honest. But I see Karina asked about, what do you think about the heavy wall gold and the Haynes flutes?
Well, I love them. I mean, I think, you sound like you, right? You're going to sound like you. You're going to write your signature, whether it's with pencil or pen or a marker. It's still going to be your signature. But it does for me. It gives me a little extra something to blow against, and it's almost like a different kind of partnership when you play on something that has that heavier wall. It's a different feel in the hands, and it's a different way that it accepts the air. So I am crazy about it. I think that's probably the flute I reach for more often, frankly.
Now we know the truth. You do have a favorite.
I guess I do, but there's nothing like that frothy Ron Paul sound on that flute too. That certainly has its place.
Mm-hmm. Karina had asked earlier in our Instagram, and I wanted to make sure I asked you. She sent 2 questions. One, and this kind of helps me transition to, I want to ask you about stuff for the fall for your flute studio. But Karina asked, what do you look for in a student? Potential,
teachability, curiosity, period. I mean, it's, fundamentals are really important, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, it's 2 people in a room together. It's not 2 flutes in a room together. So I think that the personal connection is super important, and just that sort of quest for information. And because learning is not in a straight line. It's a mess and it's all over the place. And so looking for somebody that enjoys the journey, I think that's a big piece of it.
So what do you think about the flute studio in the fall, knowing that there are probably things you can't say, but my husband's working in higher ed right now, and I know there's plan A to Z, and he can't talk about any of them. So I won't pressure you on things you can't talk about. But is there anything you can say about what this fall might look like for your flute studio?
Well, at the moment, I think we're looking at the possibility of some large room instruction. And, science is science. So we're going to adhere to whatever the most recent research tells us. But then, some maybe Zoom lessons. And then, of course, we're in a temperate climate at some point down here, too. So maybe even some outdoor work. But those are all just ideas I have. I'm not really certain how it's going to work out. The one thing I will say is that as flawed as our platforms may be, when you're my age and, I didn't have the cell phone, I didn't have the interwebs, then I think that for me, I'm still in awe that we can even do this. I am still in awe that we have such a high ability to be together in really remarkable ways. It doesn't replace the humanity or the interaction or our dimensionality, but I do think that it is something to cherish, that we can actually spend this time being together and working together in a flute form as well. I'm blown away by it. I know it's not perfect, but I am blown away that we get to do it at all.
And thanks to technology, we can speak today from really 3 different states involved here, with Flute Specialists being in Michigan, and I'm in Iowa, and you're in Texas. And hopefully we have viewers from all around today. You can type in the chat, tell us where you're watching us from. So many great comments here. I wanted to ask you one more thing, and then we're going to go to our special ending here. You're the first one to try our special ending. But do you have any flute projects or any projects at all coming up soon that you're really looking forward to?
Well, I really backed out of just about everything for the summer. So I have very little coming up. Stay tuned for a benefit concert coming up in August that I'm part of. I won't say anything more. I don't know what they've done for press or anything like that. I'll offer just a very short bit of that, but it's a wonderful concert. And then I really just have made the decision to step aside for the near future, at least partly because my daughter will be going into her senior year and I wanted to be there for every moment of it as much as possible. And partly because I feel called to let others be heard. I've been heard for a lot of decades now. So I'm just kind of making some room.
Well, I'm glad you agreed to be here today. And
well, it's Flute Specialists. It's Flute Specialists. How can I not? It's my home.
And we hope you enjoy the mug. I know I love mine. I really do. I hope you like it.
Fabulous. Look at that.
Yes. We worked hard on picking that color. Thank you for noting. All right. So we plan to end. This is our first Flutespresso event. We plan to end with the Flutespresso. Oh, no, I forgot what we were going to call it. Oh, what was it? Oh, I already forgot. So I'm going to say the Flutespresso Express Round. That's what it was. So we're just going to end with some fun this or that questions. Okay. And you can it's like a lightning round. You can just answer which one. And if I get to one you don't want to answer, you can say pass. But I promised you, nothing controversial, all fun, some flute related, some not. Just fun, fast topics. Just you and Godzilla go ahead and answer.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready? All right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Clearly. Piccolo or alto flute?
Alto flute.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Dogs or cats?
Both.
Skittles or M&Ms?
Skittles. Sour.
Oh. Mozart in D or G?
Controversy. G.
We'll hear about that in the comments. Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers. Veggie burgers.
I knew you were going to say that. You can say pass. Deafness or Mendelssohn Scherzo?
Deafness.
Ibert or Nielsen?
Tied.
Let's see here. Bach or Brahms?
Impossible. Sorry, it's just not possible. That's like asking you which one you prefer, your 4-year-old or your 9-year-old. Nope, not going to play. Go ahead, sorry.
Too controversial. Moving on. Text or email?
Text.
I knew that. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Harry Potter or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
A couple more. Travel by plane or car?
Right now?
Well,
car. Car. I think car.
Solos or chamber music?
Chamber music.
Last one. It's holiday weekend. Cake or pie?
Cake, please. Thank you.
Do you have a favorite cake?
Chocolate buttercream frosting.
There it is. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I just have a little bit of coffee left. How did you do?
Same, about the same amount, Heather.
Oh, fantastic. We are like.
Thank you so much. Thank you for meeting with me, and this was great fun. And thanks for all you do for the community there in Michigan and outside of Michigan as well. It was really meaningful to me as a kid to know that people really held up this as a community sort of focal point for us. It was really special to have that environment growing up. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to give one more shout out as a thank you to Haynes Flutes. I'll show them again. They're so beautiful. So many things there. There's a new cashback rebate on Haynes Flutes starting today. So stay tuned. We're going to release all of that information soon, but I was so focused on drinking coffee with you today.
So great. I'm so glad to know about that. Although I have to do this. I can't know about it. I already have 2. That's enough.
Tell your students.
I will.
Thank you. It was lovely meeting with you today. Thanks for being our first guest on Flutespresso.
Thanks. Everybody stay safe and healthy.